Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. In this video we want to talk about the microstructure on the Bitcoin chart, also the DXY, which might have formed a more lasting top, which is getting quite interesting now. So we are going to take a look at that, and we start with the microstructure on the Bitcoin chart. Before we dive deeper into the analysis, let us put the spotlight on our sponsor ChartPrime. ChartPrime is a service that offers a selection of specialized TradingView indicators designed to support you on your trading journey. The first one is the Market Oracle Pro. This tool, designed for precision, provides enhanced entry and exit signals along with 3 metrics aimed at deciphering market trends and optimizing your settings. Next, we have the Market Dynamics Pro. This unique tool merges ChartPrime's smart money concepts into a dynamic order block algorithm and is striving to provide a more accurate representation of volume. Lastly, the Prime Oscillators Pro. This trend-based oscillator offers a variety of market insights, including entry and exit points, overbought and oversold conditions, and potential reversal areas. That's a brief overview of what's new from ChartPrime. Stay tuned for more updates, and if you'd like to sign up with them, just follow the link in the description that offers you a discount. Thanks for watching. So looking at the microstructure, we talked in the last video about the importance to stay below the last swing low, below 27,750, because a break above that level would invalidate the impulse to the downside. Now, of course, it can still invalidate that impulse to the downside if it breaks above the last swing high. We cannot really trust this structure. We cannot really rely on it. It is very sloppy, especially off the recent highs. Yes, the bearish setup worked out, but it is still very, very sloppy, and the price seems to be constrained by these trend lines even a little bit. My preferred option would be that Bitcoin is following here the yellow pathway, one more low in the region between 27K and 27.2K. Then a wave 2 pullback, which could increase the length and the time that Bitcoin is spending in this range, and then the party should start to the downside. Another option, and Bitcoin shows some temporary strength right now, another option would be that wave 1 is already in, and that this was an ABC structure in wave 1, and that we're dealing here with an overall diagonal of some sort, okay? Which would make it increasingly difficult to interpret, but it could be that yes, this is an ABC structure, wave 1, probably of a larger wave 1. So yeah, don't even go there. It's too complex now. Just want to make sure that you understand this could just be a wave 1, and we are moving up in a wave 2, or even wave 1 is still unfolding, and this is just an ABC structure in wave 1. An A wave, basically, and then this is a B wave and will then come down. So yeah, there are still other options, and at the moment it shows some short-term strength again. Again, just want to say we cannot really trust this structure, so we are going to track it until it finally shows a 5-wave move to the downside. If it pushes higher now above the last high, then I will assume that this is probably some kind of a B wave, as long as it's forming 3 waves. But if we are breaking above 28,300, then we've got our breakout to the upside that could send us to 30K. So that's sort of how to approach it. I focus on the downside below 28.3K. That level for me is the pivot point. Yeah, we need to give it a bit of space. It's just at the moment, tracking the microstructures obviously gives an idea this could be an impulse, but it would need to avoid breaking above the intraday high, and it might do that the way it's going. By the way, the Nasdaq quite strong today. The DXY might have formed a top, so this is coming down now. So there are important decisions are currently being made in the market, and I understand that a lot of people are frustrated by this micro structures, micro action, especially in an area in which we are currently, in which the bulls and the bears are really fighting, where that fight between the bulls and the bears is very evident and nobody really wants to give up. So that's the situation we're dealing with at the moment. I can't really add anything to the microstructure. I think resistance is very clearly defined. As long as Bitcoin stays below the intraday high, I think 27 to 27.2K is the target, but it shows some short-term strength now. So we'll see where that takes us. I would prefer one more low, and then we have the clearest structure. We've got 5 waves down, and then we can look forward to a 3-wave move up. At the moment, it's very sloppy still. So overall, the commentary from the last video still remains valid, and the focus to the downside is still preferred. until we get a break above 28.3K. That would not really be bullish necessarily. Short term, yes, yeah, it would show some short term bullishness, and it could take us to 30K. As explained in the last videos, the bears so far have not really been able to follow through on those great bearish setups that we had on the chart. We had some really good and actually quite clear bearish setups on the chart, but the bears failed. So that always acts as a signal for us to say, okay, maybe the bulls are stronger here. Maybe the bulls will take the lead, and we need to be very open to that. I think in the current region, current price range, more generally also across different markets, it's very important to let the markets tell us what's going to happen. Yeah, let the markets tell us and not try to anticipate necessarily, because the market, the markets or the market itself is the boss, and then we can just take that information that we have to identify the setups and the different scenarios. But I think the levels are very clearly defined. It's also defined what we need to see for an ideal impulse to the downside, which would give downside more probability, which is, one more low, then we have at least 5 waves down, and then we can look forward to a 3-wave corrective rally in this yellow wave too. Until then, this is just too sloppy and cannot really be relied on, but we still test it and track it and see where the microstructures are being tested. Now, looking at the DXY, I wanted to talk about that as well, just briefly. For anybody who's not following our second channel, More Trading Online, check it out. On the MTO channel, we do cover the DXY, we do cover the NASDAQ and other assets, or other charts, and this one might have indeed put in a local top, or not only a local top, but a more substantial top. And as long as we now stay below the last swing high here around $107, we could see a price drop into the low $90 region. Now, it's too simplistic to say, okay, if the DXY comes down, Bitcoin has to go up. Well, you might assume that, again, I always point out correlations are not everything. While we can observe correlations, and while the dollar is coming down and the NASDAQ, for example, is going up, look at the correlations. I mean, looking at the correlation coefficient, this down there is Bitcoin, up there is the DXY. Currently, they are actually positively correlated. Now, looking at what happened before, normally they are negatively correlated, at least, not always, okay, not always, absolutely not, but most recently this year, they have been negatively correlated. That can change at any time. So when you track correlations, you also need to track when the correlations are changing. At the moment, it's positively correlated, okay? For the longest period, I guess, roughly here this year, it was already positively correlated in July, but not that high. So the correlation is quite high. That would explain why, while the DXY is coming down, Bitcoin is coming down as well, at least at the moment. Now, it's worth tracking the correlation coefficient here and to see when that goes negative again. Certainly, the NASDAQ is going up while the DXY is coming down right now. I think it's just worth to be aware that this could form the DXY could form a more substantial top. It's not entirely confirmed yet. I want to see a few levels break, but the floor is starting to crack, and we were waiting for a break out of the channel here to the downside. So I'm just indicating we are at a major market turning point, probably in many markets, the DXY, the S&P, the NASDAQ. Bitcoin is sort of still hovering in between, but also, I mean, it doesn't take much to get Bitcoin above major resistance, which is at 32K. We all know what's going to happen then, most likely. It could really send us all the way up to that target, which I haven't got on this. I've got it on the daily chart, around 40 to 50K. So that's very, very important. But overall, nothing has changed. Some fluctuations on the micro, but not even an invalidation or anything today. So it's just playing out its microstructure here at the moment. I just want to make you aware of the DXY, indicate that a more lasting top could have been made, but also don't just look at the DXY and say, okay, this is coming down, Bitcoin has to go up, because at the moment they are, funny enough, positively correlated. So yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.